According to a State of the Labor Market survey this year, 81% of workers say they fear they'll lose their job in 2025. Every day it seems we have news of another company announcing layoffs. It is no surprise that people are nervous. So let's get some concrete information and some insight by turning to Brenda Mariah, former president of the National Résumé Writers Association. Thanks for being with us.
Of course. Thanks for having me again.
Of course, it's so important. Other than fear, which doesn't help anything, what can someone do if they learn their company is planning layoffs?
So if the company is planning layoffs and you know that there's a decent likelihood, I want people to really get practical. That means things like assessing your budget. That means thinking about what comes next before the day comes where you have to make the decision. And it means keeping that resume up to date and start engaging with the necessary folks on even like LinkedIn. So that means like 1 or 2 resume writers, career coaches, recruiters, brush up on interview skills, and just remember before anything ever happens that your worth was never tied only to your job. Your job was simply a piece of who you are, and you don't have to crumble under the weight of potential or possible unemployment.
Do you have to sort of choose between shoring up your position at work, the old like, I'm going to show them how valuable I am, or making concrete plans to jump ship?
I think we should always try to remain valuable to our present day circumstances, no matter what. And so that means we do have to do things like skill up. We can't rely on the skills that we had once upon a time, 15 years ago, that were valuable then. We have to make sure that we are in demand today. That means looking ahead at job descriptions, what's being asked for, what software do you need to know that you don't yet know. And so today would be a very good day for you to really embrace the fact that what you used to know then may not suffice today and into the future. So this is a very good day to go ahead and skill up and be ready for what comes.
All right, let's say we get the bad news. What's the first thing someone should do during layoffs? Is it unemployment insurance? Is it, sweeping up all your contacts? What can we do when we get the
Absolutely. Truth to that, assessing again that budget, knowing kind of where you stand financially will give you an understanding of how long this job search process can take for you and what kind of more aggressive maneuvers you may need to take, like taking on a temporary job or doing a gig work type of situation, filing for unemployment. Absolutely. But so many people run straight to update the resume without understanding where they're headed, what skills there may be in deficit, and what things they need to do again to be competitive in this ultra competitive marketplace right now. And so I would do some very practical things like grabbing your training transcripts from work, any current reports that show your ranking or status as an employee, performance evaluations, kudos emails, anything that you can use as ammunition as it's time to rebuild and upgrade that resume in whatever direction may come next.
I have 2 more questions, so we'll have to make it quick. Are things like severance packages negotiable?
They ought to be. Not always are they negotiable. Usually they are a tool for just making sure that you don't pursue any sort of legal action against an employer, and they are not even necessarily required by law. And so if you do receive a severance package, do inquire about the ability to flex with what outplacement service that you decide to use, if that is offered for you, and do read the fine print and don't sign anything that you're not comfortable with. And you can always seek out the advice of an employment attorney if you have questions.
Sometimes just taking a beat, because it's so emotional to be sitting there in the office, just even a day of time can give you perspective and a little bit of strength. Say, you know what, I was here for this long and I deserve more. Finally, I think we've all at some point had the fantasy of, you can't fire me, I quit. Let's talk about being fired, laid off, or quitting. What puts someone in the best position for a rebound?
So I hate to prioritize it in that way, but the best positioning really is a layoff or a resignation. You being in control of that shift is a whole different kind of a feeling on the inside versus I was terminated for poor performance. Right. We talked about this before, Geisha, where being laid off or terminated for poor performance is not always true. Sometimes it's just a cop-out for organizations to leave room for like artificial intelligence to take over. And so don't be deceived if you know that you know that you have done a good job, then don't fall for that trap of saying, you didn't do well. If you have the receipts, then now is the time to present those receipts for whatever comes next. And so, yeah, this is a very good day for you to just negotiate where possible, take a pause, take a beat. But being terminated is not the end of the world either. And so don't ever fall into that trap of thinking, well, I was fired, nobody will want me now.
Yep.
You are not the first, and you are not going to be the last to be terminated from a job, and there is hope ahead.
A long time ago, I had a co-anchor. He was senior to me, and I had some disappointment, and he said, you know what, I was laid off in Miami, and I thought, if it can happen to him, it can happen to anybody. And then, of course, the best thing in my life came up next. All right, Brenda, we could talk for an hour on this. I appreciate your time, your expertise, and your positive energy on what so many people are going through. I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Thank you so much, and good luck to everybody.
Thank you. Absolutely, absolutely.